Forgive me for any misspellings or format. I'm trying to do this on my phone. I haven't talked about this to anyone, even though it's been years, even my closest of friends, minus the ones that were there. One night when I was in college, I was driving to get some liquor for a party my fraternity was supposed to throw the night. I was taking a street I was very familiar with to get back to my house. It was dark, but the street was lit with street lamps. I remember that I looked at my radio for a second. Just a second, not very long at all. But when I looked back up to the road, there was a man crossing. I didn't have any time to react. By the time I saw him, he had already hit the good of my car and bounced off the side. I remember screaming and hitting the brakes, and the wash of horror of what had just happened. I'll admit I had thought about speeding away, but I pulled over to the side and ran out to check on this guy. When I got to him, his family was standing outside the restaurant he was leaving, and they were all screaming and crying. He has laying on the side of the road with blood coming out his nose and mouth. 2 other men were standing with him trying to see if he was all right and calling 911. All I could say was I didn't see him. I was frantic by the time it had set in what I had done. I sat on the curb across from the family and listened to their crying in agony while we waited for the paramedics to arrive. I sat there and sobbed while 2 paramedics took him away in an ambulance. I don't believe I've ever cried so hard and for so long. The worst part about all of it, and what still kills me today, was that his wife came over to me while I was distraught on that curb, sat next to me, placed her hand on my shoulder and said I was married to him for almost 50 years. We had a good life. Then she hugged me and said that she forgave me. After everything was said and done, it was ruled that it was an accident. I wasn't charged with anything, and I had one of my friends pick me up from the police station. I went down a dark path the years after that. I drank heavily, dropped out of college in my senior year, and had to move back in with my mother and father because I couldn't hold on to a job. Even tried to kill myself with pills. It was a hard road to recover, which I feel I'm not fully recovered from, nor do I feel I ever will be the same. But eventually I got my life back in order, joined up with the Navy and saw a bit of the world. And now I'm on track to go back to college and hopefully finish what I started there. It took almost a decade, but I finally start to feel almost whole again. I'm back to hanging with my friends and actually going out. So maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Wow, you guys are awesome. Thanks for the support and feedback. I've never really posted anything on Reddit before because people can be assholes, but all these kind words are moving. Thank you. And big thanks to whoever reformatted my post. I'm shit at
I am so surprised that woman had so much maturity. To tell you that and hugged you classy.
I am glad that the wife forgave you. If she had not, my guess is that you would have felt even
worse and maybe would not be sharing this due to suicide. Attempts, thank you for sharing the experience.
Thank you so much for sharing. Happy to hear you redoing your right.
After such a traumatic experience like that,
I couldn't agree more. Really, the wife sounds like a very strong woman for her to be able to accept the situation enough to. And so upright then, and their unimaginable strength. Thank
you up for sharing.
I am not crying, you re-crying. You rewrite, I am crying.
That has stuck with me for all these years. I've never lost faith in humanity after that.
Those sharp moments when you see the giant inside. People, I hold those moments dear to me, but that's a pity they so
often come at the worst of times.
While that's such a traumatic experience, I couldn't imagine the emotional pain and
torment you must have felt for that. So happy to hear you are doing better.
Sage wisdom from Muff 420. Love this place.
You can be a good and moral person without being at all religious.
stealing the tears right off my face.
Yeah, I was waiting for the punchline, where Op confesses to running over a frog, and now I am sitting here like WTF.
With all due respect, why do you say there are religious values morality isn't? Unique to religion, that's a harmful misconception.
And or just really solid maturity 50 years of good marriage makes for someone who
absolutely understands the power and relief of forgiveness.
This happening is my absolute worst fear. I hate driving through
neighborhoods at night because of this.
I think light is referring to the lengthy light tread unless you were
Asking rhetorically, in which case yeah, this is not a light post.
One of those Steve moments.
No, that was me.
That's not what the light tag means. Click it to see a bunch of examples.
It is mostly cute small-time confessions like I got my dad in trouble with my mom when I was 6. No, not you again. Do you even sleep or are you just on
Reddit 24/7.
Almost cried. What a bullshit made up shit. No one would say anything like that when their husband just
died in front of her. At least make it realistic, mate.
And you can be religious and be a morally bankrupt piece of shit.
Yeah, that was a big red flag for me, TBH, and then of
Course you joined the military.
glad to hear, man. Don't let the negativity get to you, because then
We want to let the positivity in.
yeah, it's almost like this whole thing is too well written and leaning to
Make it seem like it never actually happened, lol.
TBH, from some of the other stuff I've seen, I was expecting a sins confession. This was not that.
Well, sorry about that. I'm not sure what the tags do, or what they stand for.
Bad. Is there a way I can change that?
You are not touching their tears. I might get pregnante. Thank you so much for sharing, because this is very tragic, but at least you learn lessons from this type of tragedy.
We're not this again. Because you've seen so many people after their loved ones got run over. And know how they act, so there's not a single person in the world out of 7 billion who would actually do such thing. That bullshit meter went off too. I'm calling it shenanigans.
If Hop was only looking away for like a second, how did he not see him somehow be old? I didn't check both ways and sprinted onto the road low. Maybe real, but I doubt it.
Well, that's sleep.
You might be right.
I cannot stop laughing at greater than R. Well, it was 50 years and he just made him DF over, but it's all good.
Or maybe when you only noticed them 0.
Same the instant I read what his wife said, my eyes
We're like, alright, empty the tear ducts.
and the sub loves it for whatever reason.
Very no plot holes, but the interaction with the widow is where it felt like my suspension of disbelief was.
Smacked by a car, much like the elderly gentleman in your story.
Can I be in the screenshot? Just replace my username with the Wednesday Frog.
You better fucking leave me out of this shit.
yeah, me too.
WTF, are you talking about the vast majority of people I know are religious and we just ordinary people? I don't even see what this example has to do with morality. It's just a kind gesture.
There was no mention of religion anywhere in Op's post. Why do you feel the need to make it so?
That happened.
Don't worry, it did not happen.
Well, there's never already crying, and I haven't even clocked in for work yet. Holy sh, boring, pissing and crying and shitting, because this is such a lie.
Yes, that's why I knew it was fake. No, but you might get the HIV.
Of course you can, but I don't think that that's the point of the preaching.
The forgiveness I wouldn't have called this lady bad or immoral for not.
Do what she did. It has nothing to do with religion.
Why is the story a weird squirrely thing that I can read help?
I'll take them, I have a collection.
I wonder what kind of impact those words had on Op. Would Op have committed suicide if she hadn't said anything? Life's fragile.
Counter Devil's Advocate. I've also tried to kill myself with pills. Didn't end up in the hospital for it? Doesn't always happen? I guess.
Yes, it's bullshit.
Include me too and randomly censor something from my comment. Bananas.
Ed Don T think he took it as an insult. Just points out you wrongly attribute forgiveness to religion. I think there is something that looks like clothes tag
Near the title, but you can click on.
She is a better person than a lot of us here. Good for her.
For being so strong.
Yeah, I have plenty to share.
You should be, because it didn't happen.
Yeah, seriously, she be in shock, or at the least it is side such BS. Think of about it this way, if everything was average, or just part of the 50 of
people who don't believe there's a whole other 50 who are.
Probably like, where would this person lie?
Either something is fucking going on in this thread, or I'm finally fucking noticing that Reddit has changed since 6-7 years ago. Bunch of fucking silly Facebook. Great well wishes in this thread.
I don't know you at all, but I'm so proud of you. You make me cry reading this. God bless you.
That was quite moving. It can have been easy for you. They must be heartless, or else I definitely cried when I read that low.
There's a Jesus who can find your keys for you.
How on earth can you people believe this story? I am not understanding.
Maybe something is wrong with me.
Someone give this person gold or platinum.
Well, that was one of the harder ones I've read. Sad, please be.
Strong, it was an accident. You are forgiven. I can feel much as of lately, but I almost cried. Death isn't usually a sudden thing, is perhaps the stupidest thing. I have read on Reddit for a week. Delete this, nephew.
You mean people don't just process 50 years in a couple hours, pat you on the back and say,
All is forgiven, like some shitty movie.
Well, this is ridiculous.
You are strong for so many reasons. You endured trauma most people will never face. Scraped the flames of hell and came back a stronger man. I don't know you,
stranger, but I'm proud of you.
I don't know. I genuinely think it do be better for Op to be
punished so he doesn't have to punish himself.
Christianity likes forgiveness, even if a lot of the Christians who make it to the news or go viral who don't show it. But as a fact, as it also, yes, you are right. Sorry, I got distracted.
Maybe she was thinking about killing him.
You and every other person on Reddit, kiddo.
I can for it, unfortunately. It's fake, dog.
It do be like that though.
That is the most bizarre thing I have heard all day.
You projected your misconceptions onto the story.
Thank you. People react so differently to everything.
I am sure I've read it somewhere before.
Plus the Navy does background checks on everything. They won't known his medical condition as suicidal and not let him join the military.
Wow, fender benders take longer to resolve than Killing someone, I hope, if I ever have a car accident.
I accidentally run over someone instead of hitting someone else's car.
Only had enough left for Silver XX trying.
How do people consistently fall for this bullshit fake post downvote and move on?
Let us see your collage when it's finished.
Why are you calling it collage?
Probably a good idea to go back to college. She might have done that before the ambulance left.
Include me but replace my username with theirs.
That is just plain good human values, there is nothing religious about that. So well put, dude. I would defs assume these commenters are below 20.
Because this is next level angst, it's teen angst.
It didn't have anything to do with religion.
Holy shit, I just reread it. I hate my life.
The paramedics hadn't arrived yet, and that poor woman was.
In like stage 4 of the grieving process.
Yeah, I do be trying to rip his face off, tbh.
Maybe they meant lied.
Fuck, that was heavy.
Damn, that's rough. May you be a piece. Once again, Redditors are bowling over an obviously fake story.
That's beautiful.
Bad, me too, but Photoshop 69,420 to my karma.
I was wondering if there was a new or splinter sub trying to come into
existence or get away from the mods of Rimjob.
He literally said it was an insult.
Must have lost track of the comment thread, my bad.
That is because that person followed the Jesus from the Bible, not the Jesus that will find your car keys for you.
I know the feeling.
That part, fucking onion cutting ninjas.
You lying to him now.
Because this story is bullshit.
He could have lied to them.
Why are you so affected by this? It is just an anonymous place to post things like.
It is not that deep, my guy.